Hello guys, how are we all doing? Welcome back to yet another Championship transfer related video. Now today we're going to be catching up on all the latest Championship transfer activity in the last week. So let's get into this. Let's start with the big one then. Promoted side Norwich City have just sold Emi Buendia to Aston Villa for a fee around £33 million. Now for me, this is a very similar transfer to when they sold James Maddison to Leicester City, selling on a really good player who was their player of the season arguably, to a Midlands club who's probably going to go on to do better things as well. Now this is a good move for Emi Buendia. He's moving to a Premier League side that are more established than Norwich are. As for Norwich themselves, it's something they kind of do. I think I've touched on this in a video before. They are obviously a good team when it comes to being in the Championship, but they don't massively invest when they go up to the Premier League. They've now sold off their best player in Emi Buendia. They have got 33 million to spend, but will they spend that on replacing him? I don't know. But for me, I think it's a fantastic signing for Aston Villa. Emi Buendia, by far one of the best players in the Championship last year, and it'll be interesting to see how Norwich are without him next year. The other club who got promoted in the Championship last season automatically, Watford Football Club, have also been busy in the last week. They've made a couple of signings. Start with Danny Rose. Obviously, we know what Danny Rose is all about. He's been in the Premier League for a few years. He was let go by Spurs and he's joined Watford on a free. So that's an interesting signing. I wonder what he can do for Watford. Will he get into that starting 11? We'll wait and see. They've also signed Ashley Fletcher from Middlesbrough. He is also on a free. So a couple of signings there for Watford as they build their squad for next season. I think one of the most important things for Watford next season is hanging on to their star players from last season. Sarr in particular. They were just so good in the Championship. A bit like Norwich. They were just too strong and you could really see the Premier League quality in them. So if they can recruit correctly and hang on to their best players, Watford are going to be good in the Premier League next season. There's also been a few more free transfers go through in the last week. Elliot Bennett has gone from Blackburn down to Shrewsbury on a free. Huddersfield have added to their team yet again, this time signing Josh Ruffles from Oxford United. That's on a free. And newly promoted Hull City have signed Randell Williams from Exeter City on a free as well. Now this guy's a fullback. He's actually quite a decent player. I think he's played for Exeter for the last couple of years. He's got a couple of goals as well. He's actually quite a good player and he was quite good in League Two. So it's going to be interesting to see how this guy adapts to playing in the Championship, especially with Hull, who are going to be new to the Championship after being in League One last season. So yeah, that's an interesting signing. There's also been a few signings in the last week for undisclosed fees. We'll start with Jayden Stockley, who has left Preston to go down to League One Charlton Athletic. That's on an undisclosed fee. We also have Andre Dozel going from Ipswich up to QPR on an undisclosed fee. It'll be interesting to see how he adapts to the Championship after being with Ipswich for the last couple of years. And we also have Alan Campbell, the Motherwell midfielder, coming to Luton Town, who've also made a couple of signings, like we said already, Onyedinma Dimma and so on and so forth. But this is a good signing. I think Alan Campbell's a decent player. He was with Motherwell for about 5 or 6 years and he was quite a useful player, so I think Luton can really utilise him, and it's good to see these teams are making their deals really early. We're yet to see any activity from numerous Championship clubs already. I know it's early, but let me know down in the comments why you think that is. When do you reckon teams will start making their signings? I suppose we are halfway through June, so it might start to happen any time now, but we'll keep on top of these videos when they do come out. The last thing to talk about then is Fulham manager Scott Parker, who is all but confirmed going to AFC Bournemouth. Now, I wanted a couple of minutes to talk about this one because I think this is quite an interesting move. Now, for me, I think this is a sideways step if Scott Parker does go to Bournemouth, because for me, I think Fulham will probably be in the top 6 in the Championship next year, and I also think the same of Bournemouth. So if he's going to AFC Bournemouth, it might be for a little bit more money or it might be just for a different adventure. But for me, I think both of these teams are going to be strong in the Championship next year anyway. It would be a really good addition to AFC Bournemouth, who obviously didn't get promoted last year. They finished in the playoffs under Woodgate and it was just a bit frustrating. I think with Scott Parker, they feel like they've got a manager who's got a promotion on his CV, so they've got a better chance. And yeah, I think Scott Parker is good when it comes to recruiting as well. So AFC Bournemouth, they're a team to keep your eye on next year if they do get Scott Parker through the doors. And then as for Fulham Football Club, there will be a bit of a transition when Scott Parker does go, but if they can recruit correctly, I'm sure they'll bring in a good enough manager to get them back to the Premier League, because for me, Fulham have got all the right resources to keep bouncing back to the Premiership whenever they do get relegated from it. But yeah, it's going to be interesting in the managers department in the Championship next year, because all the 3 teams coming down, Sheffield United, Fulham and West Brom, they're all going to have different managers to when they were in the Premier League last year. And speaking of managers, let's have a look at the West Bromwich Albion manager odds. You can see there, 8 to 11, Valérien Ismaël is the favourite. Next up is Michael Appleton, then followed by Alex Neil after his departure from Preston last season. Then is Chris Wilder, obviously he was with Sheffield United last season. There's David Wagner, Labadia, Carl Robinson, Derek McInnes, Darren Fletcher and Frank Lampard are all in the odds there. It'll be interesting to see who they do get and when they appoint them, as the season is now less than 2 months away. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. So then guys, that wraps up today's video. Make sure to drop it a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and let me know your your thoughts down in the comments. There's still plenty of weeks to go until the EFL season kicks off. And don't forget, the fixtures will be released next week. I'll be doing a live stream for that on Thursday. But for now, guys, stay safe and we'll see you in the next video. Peace out.